we tested this by painting this to find out if these are even worth it. Spoiler alert, yes they are, but not as the manufacturer intended. Let's find out. Hello, welcome to The Average Painter. I'm Simon. Today we're reviewing Vallejo's True Metallic Metal Paint series. They're popular, they're everywhere, you've probably heard about them. So let's get started. I'm going to share my thoughts with you a little bit later, but to begin with, let's get started and use them as prescribed. These follow the base, shade and layer or base, shade and highlight method. Let's get these out of the pots. We have a light, a base, an airbrush, and a shade. And you can see the consistency of these is pretty standard. It's what you'd expect from the paints as advertised. The shade flows like a contrast paint or like an ink. The airbrush is thinner with smaller pigments, which is good for highlights and layers in particular. And the other two follow pretty standard creamy formula. As per the instructions, we should, I can't even read. Let's get some glasses. Okay. Apply the base color with a brush or airbrush. To begin, I've primed two models, both with rattle can black. So that gives us kind of this black base to work from. And for this one, we're gonna start by using the base paint and put an all over coat over the entire model to give us that kind of, what do they say? To create a base. Now, after completing this, it didn't quite have the coverage I was after, so I had to apply a second coat. And even after two coats, there's areas that were inconsistent. With the two coats of the base down, the next step was to use that shade paint all over the entire model. This works really good at finding the deep areas and the crevices and filling them in, and it does do a really good job of creating shade. Like any kind of these contrast paints that we've used, it will leave some pooling and some tide marks, and it does. So then to come back once this was complete and dry, I went over the whole model with a dry brush of the base color again, just to brighten everything up and then to create some consistency where those tide marks existed, which kind of seems like a secret recipe for success. You know, foreshadowing future video content here. With it finished, it looks a little bit like this, which is pretty good, but it's nothing remarkable. In fact, it's something that you can get with any paint you pick off the shelf. This is where it gets interesting. We have a base tone right in the middle, and this is kind of our core tone. We have a shade and we have a light. And if only I had a way to turn this into three shades. Okay, I've got to pick them up now. Let's get crazy. Everyone, get out your dry brushes. Jeff, get out your dry brush. Let's grab one of these models. Again, I've used a black rattle can to prime it, and I'm going to take my 50-50 mix of shade and base and dry brush pretty much all over the model. Some of the recesses are going to remain black, that's just fine, but it's a really quick dry brush. Coat everything, be nice and light on the way you do it, and everything's going to come to this nice kind of gunmetal grey finish. Now we go back with base and we dry brush upward facing surfaces and cover about 50% of the model. Start where we want the focus and attention to be. So for me, that's the head and the chest and the top of the packs. It also is the tops of the knees and the toes. These are the kind of areas that'll catch the most light. 50% of the model. Get it on there. Get it done. Bang. Now I go in and I add 50-50 mix of the base and the light. And together I'm going to use that now just to highlight all those key areas. About 20% of the model. Tops of the head. The little man bib thing that he has around his chest. The tops of his knees and his toes. The tops of the packs and the edges on the arms. So you can see here, this has probably only taken me about 3 minutes to do. Now, when I did the base and shade work, it took me probably about 15 minutes to get that all done. Massive time saving here in delivering something. And I think the result's really good. In fact, this is how you should be. Yeah, let's go big. Let's make a big, broad statement. This is how you should be using Vallejo True Metallic metals. You're doing it wrong. They told you the wrong thing. It's their fault. Blame your parents and Vallejo and science. Blame everything. I have some thoughts and I'm going to share them. But whilst I do this, I'm going to go ahead and finish this model off as a Silver Templar. So that means yellow shoulder pads, some reds. I'm going to finish that off so it's nice and tidy. So we get a kind of picture for how long it takes to use this method end to end. So I'm going to jump on that and let's share my thoughts. The system as described is exactly what many beginner hobbyists need. It's prescribed and it's simple, it's easy to follow, it has bright, pretty pictures on how to deliver a pretty consistent result. But what it will do is pull. It will be inconsistent. And some of the techniques, particularly on using airbrush and lights to kind of edge highlight, and that's hard. That's hard for me, and I'm only an average painter. Imagine if you're a beginner. I think it's harder to get a good result. So let's compare it now to my method, the secret method. So we used 3 different colors or tones and we dry brushed through them off a black base. It was quicker, it's more consistent, and I think it gets better depth and better contrast between the bottom and the top. It's objectively better in every metric and it's more consistent. So you will more often get a better result using this than you would using the prescribed method. So what's my review of these Vallejo True Metallic metals? They're frankly good, but not terribly memorable. They do things that we already have in the industry. They do them in some new shades, which is great. But if you take them and apply the method, you're doing something we've always done and not in a terribly new or creative way. But if you take them and you deviate from the path and you throw things out the window and we start again, and you want to use these and use those shades in particular to create tonal shifts, using the shade and the light is really powerful. And it's new and it's cool and it's consistent. I think the biggest thing for painters trying to progress is how do we create a consistent result? If you wanted to do this across one model, cool. But using the Drybrush method, you can replicate this across 10 models, 100 models, and have that consistent approach. And I think that's really important, and that's something you can do with these paints, but kind of spoiler alert, you can do it with any paint. What's new is having a shade or a contrast paint with a glossy finish, so you can then mix it into those metallics and retain the reflectiveness and the shine. So yeah, good stuff. Sold the wrong way. So do it the right way, and they're really great. So what's our final stand on this? Buy-ish, if you want. That's my review. Buy them maybe. And I'll stand behind that review. Okay, that's all for today. We've got some more reviews coming up. Stay tuned for those in the coming weeks. And we're going to dive into this secret method a little bit more in the next couple of weeks. So that's going to be exciting as well. That's it from us. Until next time. Over to you, Geoff.